In Skyrim, there is a wide variety of fascinating weapons, but sometimes you come across ones that exist in only a single copy, or have their own unique history. At the same time, some weapons were completely cut from the game, which is why most players don't even know they exist. So today, we'll take a look at several types of rare, unique, and cut weapons. In Skyrim, there exists a unique set of ghostly weapons that I highly recommend everyone to obtain. This is because the weapons weigh almost nothing, which means they barely burden your character, while also having a fantastic appearance. Due to their transparency, they are nearly invisible during the day, but at night, their beautiful glow makes them some of the most stunning weapons in the entire game, perfectly complementing the look of any hero. However, they can only be found in a single location, Labyrinthian, and not in its outer part, which is easy to access, but deep inside the ruins themselves. The main entrance is sealed by a ceremonial door, which requires the Labyrinthian door key to open and enter. This section of the abandoned city is tied to an ancient story that you uncover during the main quest line of the College of Winterhold. The most important part, however, is that once you venture inside and make your way almost to the very end, you will reach the Labyrinthian Tribune, where you encounter unique ghostly Draugr. These enemies appear only in this location and have a completely transparent appearance. From their bodies, you can loot the ghostly weapons themselves. Draenheart Sword comes with an enchantment that absorbs 15 points of stamina. Drain Spell Bow absorbs 15 points of magicka with every shot. Drain Blood Battle Axe drains 15 points of health with each hit. Although acquiring these weapons is rather difficult, now you know that once you're doing this quest, you absolutely shouldn't miss the chance to get them. In Egmor's tomb, at the foot of his statue, you can notice quite an interesting detail: 2 broken pieces of an iron sword. This item may be especially intriguing since there are only a few broken weapon parts in the entire game. And although this weapon can no longer be used for its intended purpose, it works perfectly as a decoration, emphasizing the brutality and strength of our hero. In one of 6 random locations, you can find a unique weapon, Kahvozein's Fang, known for its beautiful and elegant design, with a striking golden color and a greenish-purple hue running through the middle of the blade. It also comes with a special ability that brings additional profit from slaying dragons. Specifically, this is the only weapon that allows you to harvest an unlimited amount of valuable dragon heart scales. And there is an easier way to obtain it than searching through all the locations. In the College of Winterhold, if you approach Tolfdir after fully mastering the alteration skill, he will give you a quest to find this blade and mark its location on your map.
Second, there are stories of a dagger called Kahvozein's Fang, said to be sharp enough to carve individual scales off a dragon.
In Skyrim, there exists a unique named weapon, Herobane's Courage, which outwardly looks like an elven golden sword. However, Herobane's Courage carries an additional enchantment that deals 25 points of fire damage to enemies. Interestingly, alongside this sword, the game also features its matching named shield, Herobane's Fortress. It resembles an elven shield, but comes with a 50% resistance to frost enchantment. In reality, however, these items cannot be found anywhere in the game except in the developer's room, as they were cut content removed together with their owner, the Imperial named Herobane Sorin Shield. With console commands though, it is possible to summon this character, who appears dressed in a full set of Imperial armor. He behaves rather peacefully, though with a noticeable air of arrogance.
Yes, I haven't got all day. Need something? Speak.
Judging by his equipment, Herobane was intended to be a powerful warrior, wielding fiery attacks and boasting strong frost resistance. Yet for some reason, he was ultimately cut from the game, and whatever questline was meant to involve him will forever remain a mystery. During the second quest of the College of Winterhold, we find ourselves in Under Sarthal, where, with enough attentiveness and a bit of luck, it's possible to discover the unique staff of Jyrik Gauldurson at the end of the ruins, a weapon that can be very easy to overlook. To make things more complicated, our teacher Tolfdir often ensures that we don't get it, sometimes grabbing it before we do and later putting it up for sale for a hefty price. This staff is fascinating not only because of its name, which makes it clear that it once belonged to the powerful mage Jyrik Gauldurson, son of Archmage Gauldur, but also because, upon closer inspection, it turns out to be far more than just a unique weapon. In fact, it's one of the best staves in the entire game. Firstly, unlike most regular staves, the Staff of Jyrik acts almost like a magical machine gun. While other staves require you to hold down the attack button for a moment before activating, this one fires instantly with a single press, allowing you to kill enemies much faster. Secondly, unlike other shock-based spells, this staff deals double the usual amount of magicka damage. And thirdly, It is the only destruction staff in the game that uses a restoration staff model, making it especially appealing to players who are tired of the same old destruction staff designs. Altogether, these details make the staff of Jyrik Gauldurson truly unique. So the next time you play through the College of Winterhold storyline, make sure not to miss it. Did you know that beneath a pristine lake in western Skyrim lies an unmarked cave called Clear Spring Tarn? Upon entering, you'll encounter an aggressive troll that must be defeated. What makes this place especially interesting is that the troll appears to be guarding an altar located behind him. On that altar rests a unique bow, known as the Bow of the Hunt, which carries an enchantment that deals an extra 20 points of damage to animals. But the most fascinating thing about this weapon goes beyond its effect. Although there's no official confirmation, many believe this bow is in fact the legendary weapon of Borlor, whose story was first told in the Elder Scrolls III, Morrowind, within the book Vernakis and Borlor. One copy of this very book can also be found in Skyrim, lying near the Bow of the Hunt itself, possibly suggesting that this was indeed the weapon used to slay the mighty Daedra, Vernakis. The book recounts the tale of how Vernakis, a wicked Daedra, sought to destroy the continent, burning villages and killing all who stood in his path. Only a true hero could oppose him, and luckily, such a hero arose. His name was Borlor. Rumor had it that he was blessed by the goddess Kinnereth, for there seemed to be no other explanation for his unnatural accuracy. Whenever he took bow and arrow in hand, he never missed. Even though he held the bow incorrectly and loosed arrows in an unusual way, the winds themselves seemed to guide his shots, always striking true, whether the target was near or far, moving or still. When Borlor finally confronted Vernakis, he immediately drew his bowstring. At first, the Daedra wanted to laugh, for Borlor didn't even seem able to aim properly. But Vernakis' sharp survival instinct sensed something in the man's eyes, a confidence that told him this arrow would not miss. When the shot was loosed, Vernakis vanished, and the arrow struck only a tree. Borlor stood in disbelief, realizing he had missed for the first time in his life.
Vernakis, meanwhile, was furious at himself for fleeing from a mere mortal. Yet Molag Bal saw it differently, declaring that by dodging the arrow, Vernakis had proven to all that Daedra were stronger than even heroes blessed by the gods. Thus, Vernakis was named the Uncatchable Beast and the Sorrow of Kinnereth. As for the archer, after that failure, no one called on him to save villages again. His heart was broken, and he never recovered from that single missed shot. He never took up the bow again, and within a few months he died in solitude. But fate has a cruel sense of irony. Sometime later, Vernakis wandered past the old rusted arrow, the very same one loosed by Borlor. It struck him in the back, and with that, the Daedra was slain. Borlor, however, never knew that his final arrow had, in the end, found its mark. Even so, it is possible that the Bow of the Hunt has no direct connection to Borlor, but one thing is certain: whoever wielded it was undoubtedly inspired by his legend.
The next unique weapon, when placed in the right hands, holds truly immense potential. This is the steel battle axe of Fiery Souls, carrying the unique enchantment Fiery Soul Trap, an effect that exists only here on this axe, making it one of a kind in the entire game. You can find this battle axe inside Ironbind Barrow, where at the entrance you'll meet the Argonian Beamja and his Redguard companion Salma. Speaking with them reveals that they've come to the barrow in search of treasure, inviting you to join their expedition. As you progress deeper, however, it turns out that Beamja has brought Salma here for a darker purpose. He intends to use her help to reach the ancient warrior Gathric, buried within, in order to seize his power and then eliminate all witnesses, including Salma.
Your blood should be good enough. This will go easier for us both if you don't bother fighting back.
Never should have come here.
Before leaving the final chamber, I recommend circling behind the throne, where you'll find the steel battle axe of Fiery Souls. And as mentioned earlier, it carries a truly unique enchantment. Fiery Soul Trap not only deals the standard damage, but also inflicts an additional 10 points of fire damage. Enemies set aflame continue to take burning damage for a short time, and if they die within 5 seconds, they will fill an empty soul gem. This means the weapon combines multiple powerful effects into a single enchantment. What's more, the effect can be disenchanted and reapplied, even paired with other enchantments if you wish. The next weapon, called Rocksplinter, is something you've most likely never encountered in the game. That's because the quest associated with it was cut from Skyrim before release. Now, only a small trace of it remains, a single mention that can be heard in Shor's Stone. There, you'll meet a former soldier turned miner named Oddfell, who, in conversation, hints at what seems to have been the most unique and possibly the best pickaxe in the entire game.
Mining iron takes a lot of strength and special reinforced tools. I must have broken 5 or 6 pickaxes in the last few months alone. But now that I've got Rocksplinter here, I can cut through stone like a hot knife through butter.
However, it appears that both the pickaxe and the quest tied to it were removed before launch. The only way to obtain Rocksplinter now is through console commands, which instantly place the weapon into your inventory. Stat-wise, the pickaxe deals just 1 point of damage instead of the standard 5, but according to Oddfell's dialogue, it was meant to be the best pickaxe in Skyrim, never breaking from use. More importantly, it has a higher attack speed, making it the fastest pickaxe in the game for manual mining. And judging by the fact that Oddfell has dialogue about the item, even though he carries only a regular pickaxe, it's likely that the real Rocksplinter was originally part of a quest. The quest would have ended with the player handing Rocksplinter back to Oddfell, at which point his final line would have been words of gratitude.
Fortune to you and your children.
In the basement of Dragon's Reach, there is a hidden door that can only be opened during the unfinished quest, The Whispering Door. In this quest, the player is tasked with killing the court wizard Farengar and taking from his body the key that unlocks the mysterious door. Behind it lies the Ebony Blade, a Daedric artifact created by the Daedric prince Mafala. At first glance, the blade resembles an Akaviri katana, but its power is far darker. Each time the Ebony Blade strikes an enemy, a portion of the damage is transferred back to its wielder as raw, unrefined energy, restoring their health. What few players know is that there was meant to be a second, more intriguing version of this weapon. However, as often happens, this version was cut from the game and can only be obtained through console commands. By accessing the developer room and entering the right code, one can find this unique variant inside the Dwemer weapon cabinet. Its enchantment description reveals something unusual. Victims do not perceive attacks made with this weapon as hostile actions. This, however, raises the question of what purpose the blade was originally meant to serve, and why Bethesda decided to remove it. Perhaps for the same reason that the quest, The Whispering Door, was left incomplete. An entire segment was cut, in which the player, together with the children of the Jarl of Whiterun, was supposed to kill their father. Most likely, this alternative version of the Ebony Blade was created specifically for that scene, allowing the Jarl to be slain without offering any resistance.
Climbing to the highest point in Skyrim and in all of Tamriel, the throat of the world, one can spot a pickaxe stuck into the very peak of the mountain. At first glance, it seems absurd. What sane person would come all the way up here to mine, even for the rarest ebony ore, the most valuable resource in metallurgy? Ebony ingots, refined from this ore, are the key component in forging some of the finest heavy equipment in the game, ebony and Daedric gear. Judging by the abandoned tool, its owner likely lost his footing and suffered the greatest fall of his life. But the most interesting detail lies elsewhere. If you take a closer look, you'll see that this is no ordinary tool. It is the unique notched pickaxe, which is not only a mining instrument, but also a true weapon. On impact, it deals 5 points of shock damage to enemies. Strangely enough, it also increases the player's smithing skill, making armor crafting slightly more effective when wielded. Its enchantments are truly one of a kind, as there is no other weapon in the entire game that directly boosts a character's stats. Altogether, this makes the pickaxe one of the most versatile tools in Skyrim, allowing you to mine ore, craft better armor, and strike enemies with shock damage. Beyond that, the notched pickaxe also serves as a reference to Minecraft, one of the most popular games in the world, where the pickaxe is the primary tool. In return, Minecraft later paid tribute to Skyrim by adding an effect reminiscent of absorbing a dragon's soul. Amusingly, the two games were trading references to one another long before they both came under the same parent company, Microsoft, which first acquired Minecraft and later all of Bethesda.